Guys, 7 years, over $10 million of gross income. Here's the truth about what it actually takes to win in the life insurance space. I've got a guide here, and it's got some bullet points, but I'm going to share from the heart and yap, and you'll see me yap in all of my videos as I'm starting, again, a new informational, educational channel where I do not sell you a course, but if you are doing well in the life insurance space, you want to talk about potential partnerships, it's something that I would be interested in. You can reach out to me. You can DM me on Instagram, Windy City Tristan. So again, been in the space going on it'll be actually 8 years in November 2025. You're watching this. So it'll be 8 years next month. And yeah, a little over $10 million of gross income. And I want to tell you guys what it takes to win. So the first thing I want to open up is with how I got into life insurance. And I'll give you a little more context. Some people appreciate that on how I grew up. And I think that even though you can't control how you grew up, but I think that has definitely impacted the way that I conduct myself and the business that I've built for myself. So I grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas in the South. If you guys have ever been Southern or met anybody cowboy-like. Have you ever seen the movie Django? Because I'm mixed, I'm half black, half white. And that's kind of like what I grew up in, like a bunch of black cowboys on a farm down in Arkansas. So a lot of respect, a lot of work, and a lot of simplicity when it comes to money. Like my dad's side of the family was like brick masons, and my dad got into real estate and different things like that, and ended up making some poor decisions and with my mom, and they ended up splitting up around 6 and ended up both doing some time. My mom went away first, and then my dad went away for most of my childhood. My mom got out, raised me and my little sister. And that was very devastating because we came into some money, we had some money, and we had wealth. And one of my guys, I did a podcast with him, go watch it, Greg Hatcher. This guy, I was on his wrestling team, friend of my dad's, played football with these guys and everything like that. He had a private jet. So like when I tell people, like especially in America, there really is no like hard childhoods. I think the people in America that have hard childhoods are the ones that lose their parents at a young age, and obviously so many different scenarios. So not to take away from your pain, but really to expand your perspective. I've had the blessing to be able to go a little bit around the world and see what real come up looks like and real poverty. And a government that provides assistance pretty much eliminates the ability for you to claim poverty. It really has to come down to a choice for you to really be impoverished. So, but it created this polarity inside of me. And I don't want to get too long-winded. I want to get into my life insurance story. But it created this polarity inside of me where the wealth was there, and then it was taken away. And we're living with my grandparents in Pennsylvania. My mom's raising us. And, she's living in the living room, and me and my sister have our own rooms. My mom always sacrificed. But literally, we're living with our grandparents, and, then we finally move out, get a little apartment for like $500, $600 a month, food stamps, food bank lines. Mom saves up, gets a house, the best real estate investment she ever made. It started like 60 grand, 60, 70 grand the house was. Now it's like a $200,000 house. So shout out to Mom, working 2-3 jobs, like 24/7, but always still found a way to have a movie night with us and get us Pizza Hut and, show up to some of the football games and stuff like that. Like the best mother, best angel in the world. So hardcore Southern cowboy dad goes away, and you've got me with the sweet mom. I had the best of both. You know what I mean? So like dad, for the 1.5 years, 2 years that I was like conscious and with him while my mom was away, we were watching 300. We were watching Troy, war movies, sports 24/7. You don't quit. You play hard, you work hard, and you party hard as well. You get dessert. I'm a foodie, so he would reward me with desserts. Well, we'd work out and reward with money as well. And I think that's where the love of building and wealth, problem solving, and grit. I'd say that's probably my biggest talent is like stubbornness, grit. Very, very gritty. Like I'm down to scrap and down to withstand the pain. That leads to me getting kicked out of high school, being an angry kid, 16 years old. I get expelled from high school, being aggressive, bad kid. I start working at UPS. That's a whole nother level of grit. Working a 9 to 5 at UPS at 16, 17 years old, doing online high school. That's 2015. 2017, I graduated high school, thanks really to my mom for doing my online classes, because I really wasn't doing that. I'd wake up at like 5, 6 a.m. around So one thing my dad like really instilled in us, he like despised like being out of shape, and he wasn't in the best shape, but he despised it. I was doing P90X3. Yeah, so my dad, he just hated like being out of shape. So from a young age, I remember being like 9, 10 years old, you have to work out, right? You eat dessert, work out, wake up, work out, work out. And it stayed in me for sure. And I remember being around like 14, 15 is when I started working out super hard. I would wake up, I'd do P90X3, if anybody remembers, Tony Horton was a G. I'd work at UPS, which is loading 53-foot trailers all day long. And then I'd get home and I would run. I'd do hill sprints and I would rotate. Every other day I'd do hill sprints and I'd run a mile. And my best mile was like 5:02, but runners, they don't count it because it was on a treadmill. So it is what it is. It was fast for me. I graduated high school, 18 years old, 2017, and I upload my high school diploma. I actually went down to see my dad. He gets out of jail, and I try to visit him, rehabilitate a relationship. Didn't work out. And I come back from Arkansas. I was enrolled in a HBCU for 2 weeks, and I come back, and I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing school. I don't want to do that. And I'm working at my friend's pizza shop. Shout out to Joyo's in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. And I upload my high school diploma as like a resume on different job sites, Indeed, something like that. I must have clicked the sales tab. I get an automated email from a life insurance company. No idea what life insurance is. I just remember my uncle on my dad's side telling me he made money in the PNC space. I was like, I don't even know what property and casualty insurance was. He just told me he like sold insurance and helped collect claims during storms. And so, I get my life insurance license. I drive out wearing this 3-piece, like hand-me-down $10 suit from Gabriel Brothers. It's like think of like a Dollar Tree or like a Goodwill. And so I drive out to do the interview. I got cornrows down to my shoulders. I'm 145 pounds, soaking wet at 18 years old. And they're telling me you can make $100,000 a year selling insurance. And I'm like, I don't care what we're selling. You know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen money in so long, and I know what it smells like. I know what it feels like. And I was like, I don't care what. I honestly, I didn't care what they were doing. I was like, I just want to get in. If you just give me a chance, I'm gonna run circles around everybody. And I didn't care what it was, but they were like, no, this is life insurance. It's legit. We're not doing anything. Because everybody there is like 30 years old. I'm 18, 19. It's Gibsonia, Pennsylvania, hour and a half away from my house in Greensburg. I drove my mom's car up there. And I get my life insurance license. I got hired at 11 a.m. I go home. I start working on the course. The life insurance license requires you to go through course. I had it done by 4 a.m. I drove up to Erie, Pennsylvania, 4 hours from my house. I think I get there by 9 a.m., pass the test with like an 87. And so from on the way up there, it's the first time I fell asleep driving. I fall asleep behind the wheel. And boom, I wake up, I hear a loud horn. It's an 18-wheeler. I didn't get hit, thank God. And that would be the first of 5 times that I fell asleep behind the wheel from not sleeping, working, driving. And I would go on to do 200,000 miles in 2 years. I calculated the math. I might be wrong. Some mathematician can figure out the math. But driving 200,000 miles is equivalent, from my math, to like living in your car for 90-something days. I think it was like 93 days. I did a lot of driving, a lot of door knocks, a lot of dials, just to make $114,000 my first year. This was a blessing. My first paycheck, I remember calling my mom up, crying, tears running down my eyes. I don't know if I was full-fledged crying because that wasn't allowed growing up from my dad's side. And I remember calling her like, you're not going to have to work soon. You're not going to have to work anymore, and I'm going to take care of you and whatever. I'm going to figure this thing out. And I had big goals. It's like, I'm going to make $50,000 my first week. I made like $2,000, $2,500. But I was not smart with the money. I wasn't selfish, but I wasn't smart. I went and I bought my little sister, I bought her a MacBook or something. And then, it was a MacBook, I think. And then from there, I think it took me 3-4 months to stash up $20,000. I called my mom up one Friday. I'm moving out. I got to get closer to the office so I can work harder. And I remember sleeping in the car, driving up to meet my mentor, sleeping in the car outside the gym in the winter in a Chevy Cruze. And I was just running and gunning. That first year, I can barely remember it, but I can remember it all in like like that, like one night. You know what I mean? And I think the first year, I think I wrecked 2 or 3 times, totaled my Chevy Cruze, my mom's Chevy Cruze that she let me drive. And I remember before I even got started, this is a vital piece to share with you guys on how to win. Cause like all I'm emphasizing is hunger. Like I don't know how to teach somebody that. I can teach you the skill of like, how to assume the clothes and the difference between term life and whole life. And, my opinion is that product knowledge is more important than scripts. That's all like competency, but like hunger is what I'm trying to share with you guys of realizing you have an opportunity to make is pretty much unlimited income. If you don't capitalize on it, kind of like that Eminem song, if you don't lose yourself in the music, the moment, you're going to miss out. And I remember selling my Xbox. And again, remember, my mom worked 2, 3 jobs. I sell the Xbox. I sell her TVs while I'm still living with her to build up money. I sold my first car, which really was my second car. My first car was a Mazda Miata that I sold for like a couple grand. Then I sold my second car, both from my great grandfather, my mom's side. It was a 1977 Cadillac Sedan DeVille, a boat. Sold that thing for 3 grand. So I was stacking up cash to be able to afford to fail, because I was spending gas money, driving all over the USA, all over the East Coast to figure out how am I gonna make sales? How am I gonna convince people to buy life insurance off me? But again, works out. I'm the number 2 agent my first year in the business. I always argue if quality was involved, I was like, I would have been number 1. But yeah, so I think I did $220-something thousand of gross business, 190-something net, and it's mainly final expense. The whole President's Club ring, the rings, the titles, the trips, trophies, all that stuff I talk about. So that was it. Made $114,000 my first year. So if I were to go back, I would do it all again. I would do everything in my power to lead from the front and show everybody this is what it takes to win. Now you guys get into this and you make memes on it like, you talk about you door knocked and all this. Like, dude, you should write $1 million your first year. You shouldn't worry about recruiting. You should go into life insurance. You should spend your first 12 months working relentlessly to protect as many human beings as possible. And your script, the education, what I would do better. I wasn't like, I memorized the script. I still remember, one of the paragraphs from it, probably most of it, but I remember one of the paragraphs was, so basically, Joe Mary, here's the way this works. If I'm going through these benefits and they make sense and you're nodding your head, then they actually ask you to try to qualify. On the other hand, if they're thinking of these benefits, they don't make sense and they actually ask you not to try and qualify. The best part about this program, at the end of this presentation, you're going to know whether or not it makes sense to you and your family. Does that make sense? Are we on the same page? And that was the most important piece of the presentation. I have not sold insurance in probably 5 years, 6 years. That tells you I was reading that script when I was in training, waiting for my license to come in. I would read it 16 times a day. I was a slow reader. I was never a dumb kid. I was not the best reader. I was not the most intelligent. Again, I tell everybody, you speak well, you read well. I have gone through a lot. I've read a lot. I've spoke a lot. I've done a lot where nobody was watching and nobody was there and I was sleeping in the car with no money. That's what sounds good. You know what I mean? So it's like to go do it all again. I was doing $10 million of work my first year in the business, got paid 100 grand. And one thing that was told to me from a mentor that was good, his name was Tommy. He's like, in the beginning, you're going to do this much work and you're going to get paid this much. And then over time, you're going to do this much work and you're going to get paid this much. I feel like I'm here now. And I feel like it's really like this, like off the screen, for me just transitioning and doing one detail I would have done differently is getting into the brokerage space sooner. And I'd say that's probably the biggest thing. And I really don't want to talk this long on my story, but I needed to share it at least once. I don't think I'll share it again, this long or extensive. As I make more long form content, people can just come back. You want to watch my story? Watch this video. That was the extensive piece of my story. The first 2 years in the business is I just focused on selling. And it wasn't that I wasn't recruiting. I was recruiting. Nobody figured out. It was hard driving door to door, house to house, failing, not having any money to afford gas, et cetera. Business still, chargebacks, whatever it is. Got to get things signed. You missed a signature. You got to drive back out. You missed an oral mouth swab. Drive back out. Territories, 2 hours away. You know what I mean? Some crazy stories, good memories too. But I remember some of my first successful agents. One of the guys' names, his name's Sam, and he still crushes it today. If you watch this, brother, I hope you're doing well. But yeah, I remember same deal. Success came from him. It was completely different. His dad told him this. He's like, Sam, people, they get rich in this life from 2 things. One of the guys, they get rich. It's like your buddy Tristan. It's from desperation. Another example would be you get rich from inspiration because his dad was a millionaire. growing up. Did everything legit, salesman, everything like that. He's like, you're just inspired. Sam told me this story once. He was growing up. He's like, I used to collect my money and put it on my fan. I turn my fan on and it'd just be raining. So, I remember Sam, he just picked it up. He was just hungry. You have that hunger, you're not going to fail. You're not going to fail. And I know that's cliche and everybody tells you that, and motivation and discipline, but it is what it is. It is one of the variables that is a non-negotiable. You want to make millions of dollars in the insurance space, your first year, sell as much as possible. I'm not saying you shouldn't recruit, but your recruiting should be directly correspondent to your production, your results. The people I know that are the wealthiest in the insurance space, they went out and they led from the front. They were able to produce. I remember going into my second year, I was able to transition. We did $1 million in sales, and I'm still leading from the front, showing everybody, here's how you sell, here's how you sell. Watch me do it. Here is what you say by watching me do it. I'm going to watch you do it. Rinse and repeat. People want to run meetings. It was a waste of my time. I can't tell you how many meetings I ran. Waste of your time. Minimize the meetings. Minimize the meetings and maximize the activity. You want to train people to sell better? You sell better in front of them. You want people to get more leads? You get more leads. Run the leads. You want people to get more referrals? You get more. People do what they see. Common sense. I'd love to hit you with some random data number. I feel like people make stuff up. 92% of people will sell more. Like, it's just common sense. You want people to do it? You do it. That's a big piece of the wealth accumulation. Now, the breakthrough for me, I'm going to share two breakthroughs, because the first breakthrough leads up to why the second breakthrough is even more important. The first breakthrough is I became a general manager in this company and an agency owner all within 1 year. I was 20 to 21 years old. I opened up my first office in Lincoln, Nebraska. COVID hits. Everything shuts down. Everybody's freaking out. We don't know what to do. And I tell these guys, hey, look, here's what we're going to do. You're going to make money and we're going to get better. And your third option is to get away from me. If you're not making money or getting better, I don't want you around me. That's it. That's our schedule. 24/7, make money, get better. And if we're not doing those things, get away from me. And I tried my absolute best to lead from the front in running that schedule. But yeah, so COVID hits, we go virtual. This 10X's our activity. Those of you knocking doors, selling products door to door, stupid. Money loves speed. You have to distribute your product, your service as quickly as possible. The second thing we were able to do is, for a short period of time, our company allowed us to buy the best leads. They allowed us to buy leads from them. They were selling them at like $10 a pop. We'd spend a couple $1,000s a week, all of us, and it was only like 20 of us. And we broke every record. We set the standards for the youth. Like anybody in insurance post 2017, they know me. Odds are they know me. I'm not saying that egotistically. I've inspired a lot. I've recruited a lot. I've paved the way. And I know that just based off of the simply the connections of the new company that I built from people all over the industry reaching out. I know who you are. I know what you did. I followed your story. And we were buying leads. This is the breakthrough. Lead flow. Whoever has the most lead flow and work flow, leads, work them. Very simple equation there. Get your leads, work your leads. The guy that gets the most leads, and that's a combination of referrals, lead gen, buy leads, whatever you got to do to get human beings in front of your product or service, and then you outwork and outsmart everybody. And the outsmart is just referrals and automation systems, which is just get a virtual assistant to help you book appointments and book as many appointments as possible. So now you're just selling. Your job, like you want to sell as much as possible, you should just be selling. You shouldn't even be dialing. And so that's what our top people, that's what myself, figured out and mastered. It's like, I'm not booking appointments, I'm running appointments. And I'm running as many appointments as possible every single day. That's how you maximize your wealth. That was the first breakthrough. That was at 21 years old. I took the lead buying away, and then we plateaued again. And there was, we were just an average of making like $1 million a year, whatever, gross income. Bad partnerships, lose a lot of money. I'm sleeping on the floor, sleeping on the couch, spending all my time, money, and energy building a business I don't own. That's me paraphrasing the story from 21 to like 25 years old. And then I have an epiphany, around 25 years old, I meet Gally. I instantly just, fall in love with her. I remember just seeing her on Zoom and just seeing this beautiful blonde and just thinking like, I try to stay away from sales girls and insurance girls, but like this, I just couldn't stay away. So I remember liking all her stories and DMing her. And long story short, we become friends and, FaceTime and call 24/7 before we, I fell in love instantly. I think she took a couple months of convincing to fall in love with me, but I'm a closer. So I got the job done. But what started as like really good friendship and love quickly escalated into like within the first 3 months, like, let's start our own business. How do we get more wealth? How do we impact more people? And it's like, oh, well, we're going to try this. They're like, well, why are we going to stay in this? Like what God closed one door and was like, hey, you guys really like, she couldn't work here anymore. This door closed and it was like, just not the best vehicle for her. And so she went out to the brokerage world. And I'm like, I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if it's going to work. She starts getting leads. She started making sales. I'm listening. It's like, sounds good. And I was like, well, what if you could figure out your own leads and your own sales? And that's when she blew that up. So I fall in love with Callie quickly. We escalate into business. I see her in the brokerage space. She's crushing it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, instead of paying $30, $40 a lead and having a 3X markup, which is what I guessed, it's like, why don't you figure out your own leads? She's like, I don't know. Then I push her. She figures out the leads and they're great. And we still run them today. And that's how we built the company. And it's like, we figured out the cost per lead. So we 3X the profit. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to make some money over here, stack up the last couple bucks I have. And I think I cashed out a 401k, round up a couple bucks, and we go all in with our credit cards and everything to launch this company. And it was scary at first because it was just, I left behind a couple hundred agents, just her, and we combine, and build this business. And, I think we were about maybe like 8-9 months into dating. We already started business together. And our first month was like January 16th, 2025. And we had like 7 people with us. And I think we did 50,000 over 2 weeks, which was insane. Selling the leads, they're coming in. She's just printing as many leads as possible. We're not checking the cost and we're accumulating debt. And, but people are buying leads and making money and converting and selling. And what took me 7 years, I can't even like wrap my mind around this. This took 7 years for me to figure out to get to 100,000 a week in this previous business model, which is considered the captive model of the insurance space. We got to 100,000 a week in 3 months. And now we've built a just do the math, multi 8 figures. I don't know when it's going to hit 9 figures, but I imagine it'll be the next 12, 24 months, 3 months. Now there's a lot of skill that preceded that developed through the pain, the process that you just can't skip. That's how you win in the space. You need lead control. You have to have lead control. If you don't have lead control, you're going to lose. So I have 3 things to rules. I wrap this up. I should have shared it at the very beginning. But the 3 rules of winning this game, number 1 is leads. So lead quality is life quality, and lead flow is your cash flow. So the individuals that don't control their leads, they don't control their lead quality, they're cooked. You don't control your leads, you're cooked. Lead flow is cash flow and lead quality. That's the biggest breakthroughs I shared with you guys in these videos. Ownership is power and wealth. You don't have ownership, you're cooked. Power, wealth, you're cooked. If you want to really accumulate real wealth, everything like that in the insurance space, somebody tells you we have free leads, you don't have any ownership, run the other direction. And the last thing I'll leave you with is accessibility. You want to scale, you need access. You need access to all the humans in America. Too many insurance companies try to limit your territory. Stupidity, that's stupid. Low IQ activity. If somebody tells you you can only sell people in Texas, you're not using your full brain. You already sell a product that's limited. My next move is figuring out how can I sell something to the whole world. I can only sell insurance to America. So guys, again, I don't have a call to action. Like, share, subscribe if you found value in this video. This is my 7 years and $10 million of gross income in the insurance space and what it takes to win in life insurance. Thank you.